Hey guys, welcome back to Code and Box Automation Lab. This is Shurful. In this lecture, we're going to see variables in TypeScript. So we'll see, some of the very basic fundamental definition of variables. So it's variables is nothing we all know are container to store some of the data or value, right? So we can create variables using some of the keyword like let, var, and constants in TypeScript. Even in JavaScript, we can use all those three different keyword, in front of the variable. So that's the, very simple definition for a variable. So what is data types? Because the data type, it's one of the big concept in TypeScript. That's when you declare a variable, you can declare your data types. So data types, every data we're storing in variable is a specific type. So it could be the number, integer, or string, some primitive, those are the primitive data types, boolean, or some non-primitive data types like object, your class. Those are non-primitive data types. So depending on the data, which is called data type. So data types represent the type of the data. In JavaScript, we all know we don't need to specify the data type when we assign any data to a variable. But in TypeScript, that it is a typed language where we can specify the type of the variable. So we can declare the variables in different way in TypeScript. Mainly it's 4 different way. So one is like both type and initial the value when you declare. The second way, it's only the type, there's no initial, and then only the initial value, that's another way. And the fourth one, without type and initial value, also you can declare your variable. So let's go back to our PS Code just to see those demonstration. Very simple. So here is my TS file. Here is the first things, it's both type and initial value. So I create a couple of variables. You can see over here the person name, and it's a type, it's a string colon, and then it's a type. That's the way you declare the data type. With the data type, when you declare a variable, so with the clone, and then the type of the data, like a string. Okay, so we all know, like in our traditional way in other languages, so when you declare a variable, you have to declare the type at the first, say int integer a, right, equals to 100. But in TypeScript, so the way you are going to declare, it's like your variable, so you can use var, let, or constant. We'll come to those keywords a little bit later. So let's use the var for now, and then your variable, the name of the variable, then colon, and then type of the variable. You have to, that's the way you are going to declare. And then if you want to initialize the value right away, so this is our example to both type and initial together, so equals to your, it's a string type, so it is a string value like Shurful. So then it's there is a number, person, age, and it's a type is number, and then it's 38. And then if you want to, we're going to print it in a console, so console.log, so you pass the variable name over here, both are same, right? So this is a example of both type and initial value. Okay, now let's go to see our next example. Okay, before even we go to the next one, like only the type, let's run it, this one, and then we'll explain all these 3 different way to declare variables together. Okay, so I'm going to sudo, and then it is tsc, it is a tsc file, and then it's the file name is variables demo.ts, variables demo.ts, right? Okay, it's saying sudo, okay, not found. Oh, sorry, sudo, I'm sorry, it's a typo mistake. Variables demo.ts, right? So I mean, make sure you have the admin permission, so then you don't have to type it every time the sudo word and enter your password. So it's executed, it means it's already converted to the JavaScript file. So you can run the JavaScript file, then it will show you the output. So to run the JavaScript file, so you will type node and then the file name, variables demo.js file. You can see the output here. Okay, so this is the shortfall, and then 38. No worries. Oh, this is something like previously I used. Don't worry about this. I didn't save that file. Okay, so just concern, this is the two output, shortfall and 38. Okay, shortfall and 38. So and then let's see the next one, the only the type. Okay, how we can, it's very simple. So only you are going to pass the type, right? So let's say you will say var, and then say give a name, person name equals to only the type. So we're going to, so only the type, it's like you will pass the type :string. So you can you can declare this way, and then later on, so you can say just only the type. You didn't initialize any value to this variable, and then later on you can just initialize here. So var equals to, now you can say, so you say string, now it's, you can say slam, whatever you want, right? And then next one, it's only the initial value, like the JavaScript. So you're not saying any the type, like a string or number. You're just going to directly assign the value to the variable. So same thing I can do over here. It's like a JavaScript. So in that time, I'm not putting any data type. Instead of, I'm just directly putting the value over here. I'm saying John. Okay, so that will also work, because TypeScript, it has its own type parameter. Like, I mean, it is a type based, like variable type based language, as well as it is also accept the way it works in JavaScript, like non-type. So it is like you don't have to declare any data type to assign any value to a variable. So it's just only the initial value, like JavaScript, right? And the last one, without type and initial value. So without type and initial value, I would say copy this guy again, and here puts over here. Sorry, remove that, and then so just you declare only this one. Okay, var person name. Okay. Oh, it is. So let's, because it has already, the same variable have already some data, so maybe we can just, it will be changed if we just place over here the different value, like David. Okay, or let's put a different, or let's give a employee name. How about employee name? Okay, so employee name, and then you put a value. So without type, so there is no type over here, and initial value, right? So you just directly pass the initial value. So that's a way you can declare your variable and data type to a variable, assign any value to a variable also. This is the 4 different way you can do this. Now let's see the use case of var and let, because we have seen that we are using var keyword at the beginning when you declare any variable. So as we said, like you can use let, you can use constant. So what is the difference exactly between bar and let? So let's see the first bar and let. Okay, so let me put all of them in comments. Oh, sorry. You know what? Let's remove them. Better, I can remove all of them. Okay, and then let's go. So example, I'm going to declare a variable, let's say z, and then its a type is number, and let's put the value, say example 500. That's fine. And then and by the way, you know, the semicolon at the end, it's an optional, so it's up to you, but I'm very used to, so I do. And then let's declare a function, create a function. Say I would give a name add, and then I will pass two argument, say x, I would say number, and then y also number. Okay, and so this is a function, and then, you know, I will say I will put if block inside the function. If I would say z is greater than let's see, if it is greater than 100, then let's put the if block, and inside the if block I would say var, let's put this another variable called sum, and the type is a number equals to, I would just add, you know, x plus y. Okay, and then let's console it, print it, console.log, and then let's print the sum. Okay, so I'm printing sum over here inside. So if it's greater than z's value of z, which is 500, it means it's true. Greater than 100, it will come over here, so it will make an addition of between x and y, and then print the value of sum, and puts in sum, and then print the value of sum. Okay, so now let's, what if I want to put this console also outside of this if block, but still it's inside the function, because function is, it is the function, right? So the function area, it's this, right? So it is still, it's this sum is still inside the function, but outside of if block, right? And then what if, you know, so in this case, it's called over here, this sum, it is a local variable, right? Because it's inside the function. The sum variable is declared inside the function, which is a local variable, and this g, it's a global variable because it is outside of the function. So this g can be accessed anywhere, right? So let's see, what if I want to, you know, if I want to print this guy, let's let me call this add function over here and pass the value of x and y. So let's pass the value x 10. Okay, and then one more time I want to call this guy, print this guy. Okay, so now you can see, just notice over here, you know, so it's x and y, it's now it's a 10. So it is sum is now 20. So we're good, pretty good over here inside the if block, and also outside of the if block, but it's still inside the function. But as soon as I, you know, want to print this value of the sum, which is 20, outside of the function, you see this outside of the, this is the two curly, it's a curly braces for the function here, and this is the end, right? End of the function. Here is, it is end of the function, sum function, add function, right? So as soon as I put this variable, I also want to print this variable, the value of the sum outside of this function, it's giving me error. The reason why I declare this sum variable, you know, inside the if block, which is inside the function. So if you declare a variable with the bar, you know, inside a function which is called local variable, it is good, you can access anywhere inside the function, whether it's inside the if block, if you have a sub, you know, sub block like if, you can access from there, or you can access outside of this if block, but as long as it's inside the main function, it is totally good. Okay, but if you want to access, you know, this local variable with the var outside of this function, it is not acceptable. That's why it's giving you error. So here is it's saying it is giving you error. So this is the, you know, very simple. So, and on other hand, you know, if you use this z, you know, anywhere, you can print over here because it is a global variable. Okay, you can see this. I also uses z over here inside the function, so there is no problem. But because, you know, this is z is the instant global variable, so it have the access to use anywhere, you know, whether it's outside the function, inside the function, everywhere. That's no problem. So let's see now, if I change this var, you know, this the variable of the sum, change var to let, what happened? So I change this to let. Okay, so you see now, if you, as soon as you change to let, it's no problem inside the if block, but it's giving you an error also over here, you know, even inside the function. So outside of the if block, as soon as you outside the if block, it's giving you error that you can't use this because you are using let keyword to declare this function. So when you use the let, it has a very limited scope between its inner, you know, the block, like if block. Even it's giving you error, you know, even you are, you know, inside the function, your main function. So that's the, you know, limitation of using let. So that's, you have to very careful when you use let. That's why, you know, most of the people, they use var blindly so that they don't have to, you know, reconsider like the scope of using the variable. Okay, so this is the issue. And obviously when you try to use you know, the sum outside of the function, definitely it's give you the similar error that you don't have the scope of using this this sum variable, you know, outside of the function for sure. Even though inside the function, you know, if you are just outside of the if block, is not letting you access that variable. Okay, so this is the use case, or you can say limitation of using let, you know, keyword with your variable when you declare. So let's you know, let's run it. We're going to, let's clear it, and then let's put it in comments over here because this is a error. This also, let's give you the error too, so it should be here. And then we'll say sudo, okay, let me save it before I run it. Sudo variables demo.ts. I'm sorry, I miss tsc. So you have to use tsc when it's a ts file, right? And then run node, use the node to run your JS file. So because it's created JS file over here, if you just open that, you can see this is a JS file exactly, you know, from this TS file. After you compile it, this is the you know, command to compile it, and then it's transfer, it's a, you know, integrate, I mean, sorry, it's a translate to a JavaScript file like this, okay, by the compiler. So to get the final output, you have to run the JavaScript file. So to run the JavaScript file, it's node variables demo.js. Now you will get that output. Okay, exactly for the same thing, you're getting output over here. Okay, so let's close this one. Okay, so and also a couple of more very simple example. So if you have a var, say example, you have a var and then declare a equals to, so I would say 100, and then again, if you use the var, the same variable, you can assign or update the value, different value. There's no problem. You see, when you have a use a var keyword, and then you whatever your value you assign, you can change that value, or you can update the new value, you can assign the new value. There's no problem. But see, now if you use the let, see, let b equals to, say, I would say 100. Now notice, now if I use the let again and b equals to 500, it will not let me do this, because you will see it's giving me error, because in a let you can't change, you can update or redefine the variable value for the same variable value. Okay, that's the problem with the let. Or if you want to use constant, it's the same thing. Constant. Okay, and then let's try to use the constant. You will see it will give you the error. So whether you are use constant or let, it has a limitation, it has some scope limitation to reuse, to declare or update the value for this variable. Let or constant, it will not let you update or redefine your value to a variable, but var, there is no problem. So those are the mainly the difference and the use case of var, constant, and let. I hope it was not too complicated and easy to understand, but it's a very fundamental and the basic declaration that you need to know if we start learning any programming language, whether it's the TypeScript or other language from the scratch. Okay, so thanks a lot. Stay tuned, and we'll see you on the next class. Bye bye.